What is going on? My name is Mike. This is all about pressure washing. And in today's video, we're going to talk about some issues that we can run into with customers. And in particular, a very strange situation that just occurred and something that has never happened to me in any of my businesses in the past. And that's why I wanted to share it with you guys today. There's an old saying that the customer is always right. And while this is something we've heard millions of times over the years, it's antiquated. It puts people that are selling a service, performing a service, selling a product, whatever the situation, in a very difficult position because people actually believe that the customer is always right. And just because you're paying for something doesn't mean that you're paying for what you think you're going to get. Customer expectations don't always equate to the product or service delivered, and that's why it's so important for us to be able to convey what we do, what the value is, what the processes are, and what the customer can expect to get out of the relationship. But in this particular scenario, and like I said, it's nothing like I've ever experienced before, this was completely different, and the customer was 100% wrong. We all love customers, right? Well, as you're about to hear, we don't love all customers, but we love customers. And if you're struggling getting customers, if things have slowed down a little bit, definitely check out my 6-figure marketing framework. In it, I'm going to share with you all the marketing strategies that I've implemented over the last 20 years with great success, from boots on the ground to digital marketing, and some pretty unique things that have generated a tremendous amount of business for me. There is a link below, so check that out. But let's talk about this crazy ass customer. So if you guys watch me, you know that I am a huge proponent and fan of Responsibid. And a potential customer went to my website. She got an online quote. She filled out all of her information, the house size, the services that she wanted. In this case, it was to have the exterior windows cleaned. She did everything right, okay? She got her quote. It was $225. And then she used our self-scheduling software to book her appointment. She immediately received her appointment confirmation via email that also included the quoted price, the scope of work, and she also received all of the pre-appointment email sequences after that initial email that we have in place to remind customers of their appointment, to let them know how to prepare, all of those things, right? Our customer contract is also included in this, and by accepting the appointment, by scheduling her appointment, she is agreeing to the terms of the contract. So the appointment comes, the appointment goes, nothing out of the ordinary. My technician was there, he cleaned the windows. He also cleaned all of her windowsills with his pressure washer before because they were so dirty, and that was just a little something that we threw in there just to be nice, right? A nice little gesture. The work order was closed, the invoice was generated and emailed. That was back in May. So when invoices are not paid in a timely manner, I've got it set up to automatically send friendly email reminders. And I have to admit, if somebody goes a little over as far as the terms or the time in which they pay, I don't really get too bent out of shape anymore. We've been doing this for a long time, so cash flow is not that big of an issue. So if a couple folks are slow pay, it's not going to impact my life whatsoever. I used to get all bent out of shape about it. I'd get angry. I'd go after them with tenacity if they were just a few days late. But at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter as long as you eventually get paid. Unfortunately, this lady continued not to pay. And it got to like 60 days. And that's when I started to get pissed off because I started getting reminders from me to follow up with her. Look, we'd already done our job. Now it's time to do hers, which was to pay her bill. So I sent her a stern email. She replies back that she wasn't going to pay because it was too expensive. So of course I pick up the phone and I give her a call. She told me that her neighbor, who had a similar size house, only paid half of what I had quoted. Of course, none of this has any bearing on my prices or what her and I agreed upon, the contract which she agreed to, or the fact that the work had already been done months ago and she still hadn't paid. And the crazy part, it wasn't a quote from my company. It was a quote from somebody else. Now, I have a very short fuse in a lot of situations, and this was one of them. Okay, so this lady was actually trying to tell me that because somebody from another company quoted her neighbor who had a similar size house less money than what I quoted, which she agreed to, she approved the work, but she was only going to pay me what they had quoted, which was $70. But she was going to add on $15 because we cleaned the windowsills. Yeah, no, not how it works. Ever, like ever in any situation ever. That's actually never how it works. Hence why I about lost my shit. But I tried to remain cool, calm, and collected. I let her know that while I appreciated where she was coming from, that's not how we operated or really anybody ever operated. And not only was I going to file a contractor's lien on her property, which would prevent her from ever selling her house unless I was paid, I was also going to sue her for breach of contract. I told her that she had until 8 a.m. the next day to make her payment online, or I was letting my pit bull of an attorney loose on her. Needless to say, the invoice was paid almost immediately. She was put on the blacklist, not that she was ever going to call us back again, but the moral of the story is the customer is not always right. We do everything in our business to benefit our customers in hopes of building loyalty and trust, right? However, if you believe the customer is always right, this customer-centric ideology is going to kill your business more than it helps it. It's just that simple. We price our services based on real things in our businesses, real things that we need to cover in order to be profitable. It doesn't matter what anybody else charges. And if that guy that is charging $70 to clean the exterior windows on an entire house is cool with being poor for the rest of his life, he needs to keep charging $70. He needs to keep giving away his services and not valuing himself. The other component is we're not going to be able to satisfy everybody. We're not going to be able to be perfect for every customer. And by thinking the customer is always right, you're making the assumption that you can satisfy every customer 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that's impossible. So even if we burn the bridge with one customer, and typically the bridge is burnt before we even get to it, because as business owners, we're doing everything possible every single day to keep that customer forever because we want their money forever. But sometimes it's okay to let a customer go or just not service them at all. Unfortunately, we don't have crystal balls, so we can't always pick out the bad apples. But if you've been doing it long enough, you can pick up signals that are going to tell you that this is probably not the right customer for you. So I hope you liked the video. Check out the resource page, all kinds of valuable stuff on there, including the contract, all of my email sequences, and my 6-figure marketing framework. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.